Hi everyone, welcome to PYF Presha Yoga Fit, and I am Presha. This is a class especially dedicated to get rid of the stagnation in the body that we have during the winter months and welcome the spring season. We are part of the nature, so how the nature sheds the trees, they shed their leaves during autumn, and you see this kind of a dry spell during the winter. The same way our body also sorts of goes into this mode of hibernation. We conserve our energy, we eat more, we feel hungry more. The movement kind of has this effect as well. We have not too much movement happening because it's too cold outside. But as the spring arrives, we start to feel a little bit more happier. We see the sunshine, the body wants to open up, the body wants to move. And just how the leaves start to grow on the trees, we start to shed this stagnation from the body and we start to embrace this change that is happening around us. And this practice is with that intention. So embracing change, opening up the stagnation that we were feeling, and feeling that feeling of welcoming the spring and thereafter the summer season. So roll out your mat and let's get started. Let's begin in child's pose first, and this is going to be an active child's pose, and by that I mean that there are certain poses. We can do a child's pose in a passive form as well, so that's more relaxed, that's more soothing, and more to do with grounding ourselves. But active stretch or an active pose is to stretch a little bit more, to open a little bit more, in terms of wherever we are feeling tight in the body. So let's come into a child's pose, knees nicely wide on the mat, toes together. And I want you to look forward first and then take those hands and walk them. Take a big nice step with the hands, giant step with the hands forward. Start to feel the stretch in the sides of the body, and then bring your forehead down. Take a nice cleansing breath through the nose. And open the mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Now just take an inhale to lift the head up. Just take your gaze forward briefly and walk those hands, crawl those fingertips slightly more forward on the mat. Feel that stretch even more so in the body, bringing the forehead down. Big breath through the nose again. Opening the mouth, exhale, let it go. And then this last time we're going to lift the head up and we're going to come onto the fingertips. So just how you hold on to doorknobs, imagine you were holding on to doorknobs, and then with your fingers going down into the mat, into the floor. I want you to stay with your gaze forward, and maybe you try to bring your chin down, but if it doesn't touch down, then it's absolutely fine. You can be probably hovering here off the mat. All right, and then we're going to slowly lift up, framing the hands back under the shoulders. We're going to curl the toes and lift up into our first downward facing dog. And in that first downward dog, let's pedal out the feet, extending one leg, nicely reaching that heel down, bending into the alternate leg, and then extending the left leg and bending into the right knee. So a couple of times doing this pedaling of the feet, stretching the backs of the legs. Adding swing of the hips from side to side a couple of times.
Again, let's remember the intention is to open the body from that tightness that we had been feeling all of the winter. Shaking the head, yes and no. Normalizing your downward facing dog, pressing into the mat with your hands and your feet nicely, driving those hips up. With an inhale, slowly rock forward to plank. So this plank we're going to hold a while, engage the core muscles, fire up the belly, spreading the shoulder blades while we are pressing into the mat, resisting the mat here. Staying with our breath. Three more breaths to go. All right, and the exhale is going to take our hips up, back into downward facing dog. Big breath through the nose, open the mouth side out. The next inhale is going to pull us forward into that plank position briefly, and then we are going to spin the heels to the left, reach the right arm up, coming into a side plank. Make sure your hips are lifted. Then that right arm which is extended up, we're going to take a nice big extension, finding that big nice line extension in the right side of the body. And then bringing the right hand down, exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale, rocking forward to plank yet again, and then spinning the heels to the right. Inhale, reach your left arm up. First, lifting your hips nicely up, hoisting them, then extending the left arm above the left earlobe. With an exhale, framing the hand down and driving those hips up back into downward facing dog. The next inhale, we're going to reach the right leg up, bend into the right knee, open the hip here, and then we are going to make a few circles to open into the hip area. Circles in one direction, circles in other direction. And then let's take an exhale to step the right foot forward, bringing the left knee down, lifting the chest up, and then reach your arms all the way up. Coming into Anjaney Asana, making sure that we are sending that left hip a little forward and the right hip a little back. While we are doing this, we're going to open here with the chest, bending in the elbow into the elbows. Gaze is going slightly up, and you're lifting and shining your heart up. Nice, and then with an exhale, we're framing those hands down, staying with the left arm down itself. Right hand's going to extend all the way up, coming into a twisted lunge. While we are doing this, we can keep that back knee down or maybe lift it up, lifting the back of that left thigh up towards the ceiling. The next exhale, look down, right hand down, step back into downward facing dog. Big breath through the nose, open the mouth, exhale, let it all go. All right, same thing other side. Left leg is going to extend up, plant. And then bend into the left knee first to open the hip here nicely. And then we are going to here make a few circles. Again, circles in one direction, circles in other direction. Exhaling, stepping now that left foot forward, bringing first that back knee down, lifting the chest up, and inhale, reaching your arms all the way up into low lunge, sending right hip forward and the left hip back, and then opening into the slight back bend, which lifts the chest up and you're bending into your elbows. With an inhale, reach your arms back. Exhale, frame your hands down. Staying with the right hand frame down, reach your left arm up, coming into a twisted lunge. Option to stay with the back knee down, or maybe you lift it up. And if you've lifted it up, then maybe you start to lift a little bit more up with the back of that right thigh. Beautiful. Exhale, look down, left hand down, step back into downward facing dog. Take a nice cleansing breath through the nose. And open the mouth, let it go. Beautiful. Let's walk the feet towards the hands here, one step at a time, reaching the top of the mat. Keeping a slight bend in the knees, the weight of the head is nicely released. And we're going to clasp the elbows with those hands and sway from side to side. Notice your jaw. Is it clenching? Is it tight? If it is, then it's time for you to soften. Come back to center and just switch this clasp of your elbows so the other way around, and again sway a bit from side to side. Nicely done. Come back to center, releasing those hands down. We're taking an inhale and taking the spine slow and steady, rolling the spine all the way up. Good. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms up towards the ceiling, extending your arms nicely up. Then we're going to bend to the right side, come into a side body stretch, and then bend to the left side. Good. Exhale, forward fold after coming back to center. Inhale, lengthen halfway, flat back. Exhale, hands are framing down. We're stepping back into a high plank, holding this high plank, nice and strong in that core. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, slowly lower down to the mat. Now with the next inhale, we're going to press into the mat and gently lift up into a small back bend. So into a baby cobra, ensuring shoulders are rolling back and the chest and the sternum is going forward. Nice. Exhale down. Inhale again, lift up. A little bit more up if you can, or if you want to, exhale down. Inhale this time, lift up back into that nice back bend, and exhale to all fours and downward facing dog. Next inhale, reach your right leg all the way up. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Come onto your fingertips. Inhale, reach your arms up to a nice big high lunge. Then with an exhale, stay with the lower body in that same formation, but take your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers. Lift your chest up. Squeeze your shoulder blades, opening into the front and the upper body. And with an exhale, slightly hinge forward into a runner's lunge. Step the left foot halfway forward and keep a slight bend in the right knee and start to lift that left leg up into warrior 3. Good. Hold for 3. Continue to keep a slight bend in that front knee for a little more support in that balancing pose. 2. And 1, ever so slowly, we're going to step that left foot back. Reach the arms all the way up to a high lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, open into warrior two, spinning your left foot down to a 90-degree angle and arms are going out like T. Palms facing down, we're spreading into the shoulder blades, but at the same time we're relaxing those shoulders, so we're not lifting them up, we're driving them down away from the ears. Ensuring the front right hip is lifted and you are engaging and squeezing the left hip. With the next inhale, left arm down, right palm flips up. Exhale, cartwheel both your hands down. Step back into a downward facing dog. Inhale in downward dog, moving with the breath now. Exhale, rock forward to plank. Hold for 5 breaths in order to fire up your core for 5, 4. You can modify this pose by bringing your knees down, but make sure that you're keeping the core engaged and your tailbone is tucked down and under. 3, 2, 1. Exhale all the way down. This time, inhale. We're going to slide the hands a little under the rib cage. And then we're going to lift up into a bigger back bend, so an upward dog. However, if you wish to just take a cobra, you can just keep your hands aligned with your chest. All right, with the next inhale, upward facing dog. Shoulders are rolling back, thighs are lifted up, and chest is going forward. Exhale, drive up with your hips, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Left leg's going to lift up. Inhale. And exhale, we're going to step that foot forward. First, lifting the chest up as we come onto the fingertips. Inhale, reach your arms up to a high lunge. Now from this high lunge, keeping the legs in the same form, we're going to take those hands behind us so that we can open the heart and the chest and take this small back bend. So interlace your fingers, open your heart and your chest. And then with an exhale, we're going to lean slightly forward with that. Ooh, I'm a little wobbly. Lean forward and start to step the right foot first halfway forward with that toe. And then keeping the slight bend in that left knee, reach the right leg up. Keep reaching your tailbone towards the right heel. Veerbhadra Asana. 3. And then slowly step back with the right toe. Reach up with your arms into a high lunge again. And this exhale, we're going to open into warrior 2. So the back foot's going to be parallel to the back or the front edge of the mat. Again, shoulder blades are fanning out. Palms are facing down. Front left hip point is lifted up. Good. Right arm down, left palm flips up. Inhale, exalted warrior, coming into a side body stretch. And we're going to cartwheel those hands down. Step back into downward facing dog. All right. The next breath in, we're going to stay in downward dog. Next breath out, we will walk the hands towards the feet. While we do this, and once we reach to the end of the mat, we're going to heel toe with the feet out, heels slightly in, toes slightly out. Come into a nice deep squat. Bring your hands to your heart center. Push with your inner elbows, your inner thighs out. Chest is lifted and your spine is nice and long. Opening into the hip area here. Now, I'm going to give you an option here. Please stay in Malasana and Just enjoy this shape in the body for another 5 breaths. However, if this is a part of your practice, we are going to practice Bakasana. So for crow pose, we're going to frame those hands down. We're going to bring the toes together first. And the gaze is going to be always forward on the mat. We're going to bend into the elbows a little bit, frame or put those knees into those armpits, or let them plug into your armpits. Gaze forward, lift your hips up, start to shift the weight forward here. Keep the elbows slightly bent like a push-up position. And then maybe you lift your one toe up or both your toes up. Getting lighter on the feet. And then with an exhale, back to Malasana. Big breath in, hands down, exhale, drive your hips up, heel toe with your feet in under your hips, then lengthen halfway, flat back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, arms to the sides. All right, let's take an inhale, reach the arms all the way up again. Exhale to fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, flat back. Exhale, walk the hands to the front of the mat. Come into a high plank again. Good, pressing into the mat nicely. Inhale in high plank. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, your choice of back bend. I'm taking a full cobra. Rolling shoulders back, sending your sternum and your chest forward. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Nice. From downward facing dog, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step the right foot to the outside of your right hand. Bringing your left knee down, coming into a lizard lunge. Place the right hand on the inside of your right leg and push the inner right thigh away from your face. Opening the chest to the right and spinning the right shoulder slightly back. Then exhale, framing your right hand down. Curling your left toe, lift the left knee up and step back into a downward dog again. Inhale, reach your left leg up this time. Exhale, step it same way to the outside of your left hand. Right knee is going to come down. Then that left hand, we're going to push the left inner thigh away from the face. So spinning your left shoulder back. Nice. Framing your hand down, again step back into downward facing dog. Inhale in downward dog. Exhale, rock forward to a high plank again. Briefly in that high plank, again into side plank. So spinning your heels to the left. This time, see if we can stack the right foot on the left and reach the right arm all the way above the right ear, coming back into that nice extension in the right side of the body, making sure your hips are lifted. Exhale, driving hips up and framing right hand down, back to downward facing dog. Good. Inhale in down dog. Exhale, rock forward to a plank again. Side plank other side, heels to the right, left leg stacked on the right, reaching your left arm up with an inhale. Again, hoist your hips and extend the left arm all the way above your left ear. Good. Exhale, look down, left hand down, driving hips up, back to downward facing dog. Inhale in downward dog. Exhale, we'll step or hop forward into a seated position. So when you're doing this step or hop with your feet or your foot, your right foot behind the left hand and the left foot behind the right hand. All right. Coming into a seated position. Once we are seated, we are going to take Navasana. This is going to be the last bit of this practice. So leaning back slightly, lift with your chest. Make sure your lower back is lifted, extending your legs, bending into your knees, and extending your arms. Chin away from the chest. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Crossing the ankle over the ankle, knees in, and we're going to come into a seated position. Okay, so it's time for us to slow down now. As always, I would urge you to take Shavasana. It's almost the end of this practice. Might as well pause it right now or finish it till the end and just do what you need to do. Shavasana or any shape that makes you feel or makes you feel calm in the body and brings in the sense of being still. However, for some of us, we are in a hurry, we've planned the other things for our day, so we come into a nice seated Sukhasana or meditative pose. Close our eyes. Bringing hands to the heart center, bowing in gratitude for showing up on the mat and finding time for self-care. We honor the self, we honor the practice. Thank you everyone for being here, for taking out the time to move with me, to practice with me, and to welcome the spring. As always, all my love to you. I will see you in the next video soon. Please take care. Bye.